night class is made by God without the point of a lie. Chris! It's Christian! Chris! It's Christian! See you man, this is on the code for Queen. Here we go again, motherfucker!
Hey everybody, Sonichu here, still in Mama's body for since 6 months since she and I body swapped. But anyway, so I wrote my own little speech that talks about updates that happened since when Mama originally talked about the dimension merge. It's still in progress. She wrote about that nearly 2 years ago. So I recently rewrote and all that by hand, and I finally I wrote my piece that is pretty much an update of what happened since and a little bit from me. So emotion and heart and everything is in there. So let's get down to it. So let me see. Pretty much that's the right. So anyway, without further ado, let's talk about the communities and what y'all in 1218 here can and should do. So Mama's tweet set were shown to everyone in C197 as well when they got typed up nearly 2 Octobers ago. Since then, the common folk around the earth has been mindset on prep work. All of the local government peoples consulted with our overpowered psychic types, the Justice League, the Avengers, the CPUs, the game industry, the world leaders, and so on, to get the details, make the plans, and kept the larger details coded down for everybody else's comprehension. It's actually better for all to remain calm, patient, alert, and focused instead of overthinking things. I mean, it's nothing personal or insulting anybody's intelligence. It's just easier this way, you know? Gotta keep calm and focused and all that. Think. Mama encourages that, and I'm encouraging it as well. Anyway, so most everyone has prepared their evac kits, taken up survival and outdoor learning from various books and educational videos, etc. And in each country and city, they have their plans made out and distributed. They distributed pamphlets on those. Even President Herbert Garrison, who is pretty much Donald Trump's self-counterpart, freaking Trump. Garrison called the prep work plans in order. Thank deities we do not have your frickin' pandemic in C197 social distancing orders. God, I'm a mess and shit. I mean, geez, I can't wait to get back into C197 with this body. Everyone has been practicing common sense, quick as possible thinking, and mental processing, and working together in all of this. The next subtopic, our experiences since 2018, which are about the same as in 1218 here. Everyone has become able to see through the Iron Curtain. Most refrained, but more than a quarter or third have interacted and talked with some of you all, and y'all have seen and talked with us as well. More and more portals and breaks have been appearing and manifesting around the world and throughout the galaxies of the Iron Curtain between our dimensions, and some have safely and successfully traversed to the other dimension and back. Everyone who has perished so far, meeting Mama's estimates respectively, have safely merged and awakened in their self-counterparts' bodies, brains, and consciousness. The tallied numbers of individuals in C197 who are confirmed of waking up here to be in the millions. That's the number of deaths here on the 1218 side. They woke up in C197, that's in the millions, as opposed to the opposite from C197 to here. Where are they going? Right. The number of your waking up after soulfully migrating from C197 were in the 100,000s, less than 500,000. To be clear, this is amongst the common peoples with mundane types of lives and hardly any life-extending powers and superpowers, and those who lacked in endurance and fortitude. And the honorable mentions to just it being unavoidable and twist of fate happening to them. Also, we have confirmed buildings and objects fully transitioning into the other dimension from the other side, such as Gotham City in C197, has seen buildings from this dimension appear on the outskirts around them. Your Statue of Liberty has appeared right next to ours, and the next day after that, our Statue of Liberty just disintegrated and became lost in the void. The temples in Saudi Arabia crumbled in C197, and your temples appear to replace them. Our China and Japan buildings, the buildings in the countries of China and Japan, just to be clear, they've appeared in your dimension here, shortly after those same structures crushed and fell. The leftover rubble around them from the former was obvious on the ground just around them. And I can go on with Notre Dame and all the California that burned in favor of those cities from C197 into 1218, including Elmore. And the OG Rishiram was doing a bang-up job in bringing on the firestorms here. As you know, on the West Coast we got Rishiram, and on the East Coast we've been having Zekrom. And after they've been doing their chaos, guess who's been coming in, bringing in the chill winds? Kyoram, the OG one. But fortunately, in combination between both the net dimensions, most everyone got out of the transitioning buildings and survived. The combined number of deaths by becoming stuck in fading in walls, floors, and so on were just over 10 people. Just that, 10. Man, I lost my place as I through that. But yes, sadly their bodies disappeared. They disappeared into the void and all of that. But they are not forgotten, and thanks to our psychic teams and individuals and superheroes, everybody, they have all been counted for and will be remembered. And the last subtopic for now, I'm going to tell you all a few two stories about myself. Good old Sonichu. That's me, right there, my body, but I'm in Mama's body, so it's just nearly 6 months now. But anyway, let me tell you a few stories about me. Alright, so y'all know my origins. It's pretty much born as a Pichu on April 20th, 1992, evolved into Pikachu, collision with Sonic, became the first ever Sonichu, met Rosie, had adventures, learned, grew a lot as a warrior, Quickfield, and then some. I often have had dreams and nightmares spawned from the hate-filled alt-dimension fanfics that have been written in this dimension. On Magic-chan and my love, Rosie Rose Chew, oh thank goodness, they helped me to stay grounded and reminded me to stay calm with meditation and all that. It's been such a major relief. I thank them both and everybody else ever so much, including our Christine Chan, that's Mama's Central Self-counterpart in C197, as well as Mama herself. But yeah, I've also had my times of doubt over Christine Chan. And you've read about that version of her. I had thought one time or another that I could do her job better. I was also aware of Mama in 1218. I've never acted against either of them. All of them. And then, I never acted against it. And then, freaking idea guy and his damnable villain of it powers put a major pain on our Earth and Equestria in C197. Those damn freaking Nazis. Manipulating the CPUs with his freaking OC Johnson Wiles, soldier of war and whatever. Ah, what a freaking manipulator. I can just kick his ass all over the place. And while I was spending time and making good with Mama during those months, idea guy he got into my brain and turned me against her. It was freaking horrible. And Mama had not ever stopped being kind with me, but I was so blinded. And as I had threatened her, and then she got tough love with me, it just brought me brought me back to myself. Whew, boy, worlds of relief when she finally used her ether to undo all the idea guy's chaos in C197. I still remember it all though, every single detail. But I've toughed it out and recovered of my will and help from my family, friends, and our goddess, Mama Christian Sonichu. I never forgot a detail from those months. Since then, I've continued my duty and worked hard in everything, including all of our prep work for the merge and getting Mama with her one OG body safely and fully into C197 from 1218. I've also traversed and visited other planets, dimensions, and timelines with Rosie, by myself, or with Magic Chan, or whoever, for additional tech, resources, and useful supplies. We definitely certainly got a bit of help, despite his freaking retardedness with not from freaking Jacob Sockness and this freaking link with Jacoba on Andromeda. But at least we have our allies that are outside of that freaking OG Oedipus of a thing, whatever. But then finally, the big moment. Magic Chan told me as much as possible of the upcoming body swap that I was going to do between Mama and I. Every single foreseen possibility, outcome, and what to do. So I kept my cool and waited throughout February and March of 2020. Come March 31st, Krakow, zapping it up to the extreme. Here I was, and still am, over 6 months now. I tell you all, sincerely, directly, and very clearly as possible, the majority of you all can hardly ever comprehend the genuine, overpower, abilities, endurance, fortitude, and overall strength and speed this one body and brain literally has. So many visions, so many deja vu moments, telepathy, telekinesis, and so on to every power all of you can think of in this dimension, and then some. No exaggerations. And no lies either, I tell you. 1218 restrictions have been tough to work with and around and cope with, but the magic and everything has been and is returning to this dimension from C197 and so on. And the powers of this body and this brain have become easier to utilize. It's constantly connected with the cosmos and every single self-counterpart that still has their respective Christian souls in them, or not, whichever. Anyway, all those bodies. And from in the other dimensions in timelines. It also goes off in massive aura energy, glowing. Look at all this glow around me. If y'all can see this through the video, you are psychically, spiritually awesome. And sometimes mild pangs when anything is happening between our two Earths and the Iron Curtain, and then some. This body and brain are literally working, doing, interdimensionally and goddessly traversing tough, rough, and hard every single millisecond. And I, Sonichu, have tried and kept on and continuing on until that day in the new pandemic-free version of this, the Omega timeline, because I'm going back in time with this body after I get back into C197, finally return this body to Mama in the new timeline at BabsCon 2020. And I tell you all, as overpowered a soul I am in my old body that I was used to and accustomed with and everything, Sonichu, am I able to do Mama's job as good as only she, our OG Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu of Earth's 1218 and C197 can do. This work, her body, her brain, her goddess level overpowers and abilities, they're all literally tailored and custom made only for her. I never should have ever doubted her. My most deepest apologies for doubting her, and I sincerely pledge and repledge my duty, loyalty, and best of myself, my powers and abilities to her now, and after which she and I swap back to our original bodies in a new timeline. I have learned, I have grown characteristically and over this time in humble service to and for her. All praise, prayers, and power to our goddess of 1218 and C197, Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu.